So you decided to step out and you're running a business. Well, a very serious question I have to ask you. Is this a business or is this just an expensive hobby? Now, a lot of people have their own opinions about how do you tell if this is a business versus a hobby. And you know what? You can go on and on about those definitions or those explanations or opinions. But the opinion that I really want to talk about is what the IRS has to say. Because there are situations where the IRS steps in and says, hey, you know what? This really isn't a business. This is just a hobby. And if the IRS says your business or your so-called business is a hobby, then you lose all of the tax benefits of a business. Now, so you're wondering, what is that rule? Well, the IRS says that when you are filing your taxes, you are only allowed to take a loss for 3 out of 5 years. So, which means in a 5-year period, in any given 5-year period, if you recognize a loss for more than 3 years within that 5-year period, the IRS says this is no longer considered a business for tax purposes. This is actually a hobby, and you lose the benefits of being a business from a tax perspective. So, when you think about starting a business or you think about running a business, you know, most people never actually really plan to just lose money. But when you're running a business, sometimes you realize that, hey, the product didn't take off like it was expected to, or expenses were a little bit more than they expected. So you want to make sure that you are aware of this rule and that you're working with your CPA and your tax accountant. And now, speaking of that, there are a lot of people that I've come across. I mean, being a CPA and dealing with taxes and accounting and finance, there are a lot of people that I've come across that said, you know what, I need to find a way to reduce my tax liability. And so their cousin's brother-in-law gave them some crazy idea like, hey, you should start a home-based business. And they say, well, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. And they're like, yeah, you can write off some of your expenses and you can write off the things that you're doing in your business. And I'm like, okay, all right. If you are going to start a business, let's be very clear. If you are doing it just for the purpose of writing off expenses, then you might be in danger of running against this rule called a hobby, not a business. And when the IRS says that your business is a hobby, you lose all of the benefits that come with a business, and you could find yourself into some serious tax trouble. So before you take your cousin's brother-in-law's advice, please make sure you understand how the IRS looks at this and how the IRS determines whether this is a legitimate business or whether this is just an expensive hobby that gets no benefits of taxation as a business. So, if you have questions about this, definitely talk with your accountant or your CPA who understands your specific situation, because they can help you navigate this to make sure you don't get in trouble with the IRS.